Okay, so this is going to be a complete walkthrough for lab 1. So I've got Blackboard open, and under weekly content, we're going to go to week 1, and it's going to have all the files we need for this lab. So the factory IO one, let's go here. I'm going to right click Save As, and I'm going to put this in my documents, factory IO, my scenes is right here. I already have it saved, so I'm not going to do it, but that's where you'd want to save that. The rest of them, I'm going to save them to a folder. It can be either on the desktop, probably better it's in your OneDrive so that you can get to it from wherever you are. Okay, so lab 1. Save that. Save this IO map. I'm gonna save the completed program. That's a PDF of the program. And I'm also gonna save the lab instructions, okay? So let's open up the lab instructions first, because that's basically a walkthrough for the lab as well, but it's just written down. So I just talked about what we should already do. Download all of these files, okay? And the first thing it's going to ask us to do is set up RSLinks Classic Lite. And RSLinks Classic is a way to set up communication to your PLC. So I'm just launching that right now. I'm going to bring it over to the screen that you guys can see. Okay, so I already have it set up. Okay, so I'm going to delete this so you can see how to add it. It's in the descriptions here. So I'm going to go to this configure button. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to add Ethernet devices. Okay, that's what we want to do. So right here, Ethernet devices, add new. This is the default name. Just click OK. Now here's the important part. You're going to need the IP address of your PLC. They're all going to start with 192.168.1 dot. And then the last digits are going to be unique to your PLC. In my case, mine is 187. If you're in the lab, you can see this scrolling across the front of the PLC. If you're logging in remotely, look at my remote access document, and it's going to tell you how to get to that. Click OK. I'm going to close this. And now if I click on here, give it a second. There's my PLC. I see it connected. Once you have that come up, you're fine. You don't have to do anything more with RSLinks. You're just going to close it. Okay, so that were the steps here. Now we're going to talk about downloading to the PLC. So if we go to, I'm going to move this lab folder over. Here's where I downloaded all my documents. And everything's showing up on the wrong screen. So this one, .acd, that is your program file. So we're going to click on that. It's going to load up. It's going to take just a second. So this is opening the Studio 5000 software. That's what you're going to use for developing the programs for the PLC and downloading them and debugging them. So this is your development environment. We go to main program, main routine. You're gonna see there's nothing in here right now, but I've given you the finished logic, and all we're gonna do is type it in so you get a feel for how to add logic in this environment, also how to add a few tags, how to download, how to do live edits, to look at your logic, and also how we make the connection to the PLC. If you remember, my connection was not 192.168.2 or 1 and 236. Mine was 187 at the end. So I'm going to need to point this to the right spot. I'm going to go to Tools. No, I'm not. Communication. Who active? Okay. I'm going to drag this over. This is showing us what we just set up inside RSLinks. So Ethernet, I just set up this one with 187. I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna set project path. That means it's gonna save this path. So if I ever leave the program and close it and I open it back up, it's gonna be set to the same PLC. I won't have to do this again. So I can hit download. Right now I'm using a different PLC at home than we have in the lab, so it's asking me to change the type. I'm gonna say yes. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna ask me, sure you wanna download this? It's gonna stop the program, and that's fine. This is a good warning though, if you're working on an actual machine. If the machine is running, producing parts, you may not want to just stop it in the middle of what it's doing. You might want to do a controlled stop and then let it run. What do we have? One error here. Empty rung. Okay, let's get rid of that rung. And let's try and download it again. Notice this drop down that I used right here. Okay, download. Okay, so it takes a while. Even though there's no actual program in here, there's a bunch of other things that it's looking at, the configuration of the hardware that it's connecting to, and it's going through and checking everything is valid before it tries to download it. Okay, so it's downloading. Okay, so we're connected, and it's basically downloaded nothing to the PLC, but that's fine. We know there is a connection. Right now it says it's in remote program. We can put it into run mode. I don't know if that will have a problem. Nope, no problem. It's not running anything, but it's in run mode. So it's trying to execute a program. So we have that connection up and running. Let's go on and try and get the connection up with factory IO. And then we can worry about the logic. So I'm going to open up factory IO, again, opening on the wrong screen. Oh, here we go. I'm going to go to scenes, my scenes, and I already have a couple of labs loaded in here. If I ask you this, say discard. Okay, so this is the simulation environment we have. Okay. If anybody's done any kind of gaming, it's the same kind of controls. You have controls on the keyboard. Either you can use the arrows to move back and forth, left and right, or use WSAD. So W is forward, S is back, A is to the left, D is to the right. And when I move my mouse, it's not moving my head around at all. I have to hold down the right mouse button, and then I can look around. Okay, so we have a full 3D environment that we can look around and simulate our program with. So right now it's not doing anything, it's not connected at all. We're gonna have to go to File, Drivers, make sure this is set to Logix 5000. I'm gonna go to Configuration, and we're gonna make sure this IP address is the correct IP address. In this case it is 192.168.1.187. That is my PLC. I'm gonna go back to here and click connect. Let's try that again. Okay, so that is fine. I don't know why I got the error the first time. Tried it again, we got the connection, everything's lit up here. We have a green check mark. Right now it is connected to the PLC, but it's not gonna do anything because we don't have a program running yet. So I'm actually gonna go back in here, drivers. I'm gonna disconnect it for now and then minimize this. And let's bring up, what do we have next in here? Okay, so I did talk about the connection. Okay. So we're not gonna look at this document anymore because I've already gone through all of this. I'm gonna minimize this and I'm gonna go into the folder where I save this completed program. I'm gonna bring this over. And I'm going to put these side by side. I'm going to go offline because it's going to be a little bit easier, I think, for us. I'm going to say go offline. All right, so you see there's nothing in here. I have all these rungs over on the right hand side. If I need to add a rung, I can double click here and it's going to add a rung in. Okay, so up here we have our different, why is it not letting me select it? There we go. So it has the different contacts, normally open contacts. You can drag them down. Okay, I'll show you a quicker way of doing this after. The output, I want a branch. This is a branch right here. It's going to go around here and drag another normally open. So now this looks like we have here 3 normally open contacts, a normally open contact going around this last contact, and a coil. Okay, so now all we have to do is enter in the tags for this logic. So if you remember from the lecture, this PLC is a tag-based PLC. So what you see here, this part, that is the tag name. Up here is the, that's the description. And down here, if there is something in these brackets, that is the alias. It means it's also linked to this other tag. So we can just start typing in here, factory IO, see it says pause, not running. You can select it from a list, or you can just type in the whole thing. Depends what it is. Maybe it's quicker selecting it, maybe it's quicker typing it in. Okay, stop. Notice how it already has PB. I haven't finished typing. I can just hit enter and it will take that tag. So I can say start, enter, run, enter, run. Okay, so that's us finished the first run. I'm gonna add another one and I'm gonna show you a quicker way to do this than going up to the top all the time. This is a normally open contact, also referred to examine if closed, and we also have examine if open. Let's see, XIC, examine if closed, XIC. So I typed in XIC and we got this. Okay, I'm gonna delete that right now. And what I'm gonna do is type in XIC space OTE. That's an output. And I get the rung. It's a lot quicker than going up here and dragging them down every time, especially when you get to commands where they are buried somewhere else inside here. If you know what the command, or the, it's not the command, but the, whatever this function is here, if you know the name for it, the 3-letter mnemonic, is going to be a lot quicker. Okay, so I'm going to type in here run. I'm going to type in here running light, and there's one more around here, so I got to make a branch, and I'll drag down a coil. So I'm doing kind of a hybrid approach of adding stuff here. Okay, start PBLT. So that's push button light. Okay, second rung's in. Okay, let's do the next one. XIO, examine if open. OTE, output. So this saying if I'm not running, then we're gonna light up the stop, push button light. Stop, PBLT. Okay, and I'm gonna put in the next rung, and then let's try this, because at this point we should have motors running once I get this. So we'll download this just to see how it's going. So again, I like doing this, XIC OTE, run, and these are the motor outputs. And put a branch around. I just typed in OTE there. Okay. Okay, so I'll show you something interesting here. I'm gonna put a branch, but watch. It looks kind of like a branch inside this branch. These lines don't line up, which is not exactly what I want. If I drag it over to here, they will line up to each other. Okay, so when it's not lining up perfectly and it's kind of looking like an inverted pyramid, that means the rungs are nesting, and you can only nest so many times. But when they're like this, they are equivalent, and you can put as many of them in parallel as you want. Okay. Put an output, motor 3. Okay, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna download it. And then we're gonna bring up factory IO again and see if that part is working. Okay, the other thing to know is when I do this download and it stops the PLC, it breaks the connection to factory IO. So if you were already connected and you do a download in the middle of that, we might have an issue trying to reconnect. It might not reconnect for you automatically, so you might have to cancel that connect, like disconnect and reconnect. There is a check mark that says try to connect automatically, but it doesn't always work. I like just going with the manual connection. Okay, put it back into run mode. See here, it says remote run. That means it's actually trying to execute this code. I'm gonna bring up factory IO. I'm gonna connect again. It's connected. I'm gonna go back to here. I told you can move around like this. You can also store positions that you want to jump to. So like camera positions. So if I click on here, I get control panel. I double click, it's gonna bring me right in front of the control panel, which is perfect because right now I wanna start this. Oh, first I have to hit this play button, which means the simulation is active now. I'm gonna hit play, and look at this. We got boxes going down the conveyor. So I turned on the motor here. There's a motor on this corner and a motor over here, and they're gonna keep going, and this arrow here is just kind of making the boxes disappear. This one's making boxes appear for us magically. Okay, so we got that running, which is pretty quick. Not a lot of logic that we had to add in there. And we already have things going. I can stop it. Okay, and everything stops. So let's go back to the logic, and we're gonna add the rest of the logic, but we're gonna do it while we're still connected to the PLC instead of going offline. We'll see if later if we have to go offline to add anything, but I don't think we need to for this program. So I'm gonna add another rung. Scroll down a little bit so we can see this. Close this. So XIO space OTE. That's built that rung for me. Photo I1. Photo I2. And I'm gonna say this. Tall box present. Okay. Now, previously when we're entering everything went fine, but you can see right now it says undefined tag. Okay, so we need to talk about the tags and where they are stored. Right now I'm gonna say make a new tag. I want this tag to be Boolean. And I want it to be, yes, this scope, which is controller scope tag. Okay, create. Okay, so now there's no error with it. And I'm gonna download it. and make it actually run in the PLC, and then we're going to talk about where the tags are. So I'm going to click this. It's going to say, do you want to finalize edits in the program? You can say yes, and it's going to check that everything's valid, and compile it, and then download it to the PLC. So now this rung, see how it's green now, is actually running inside the PLC. So what happened with this tag? So I'm going to hit on controller tags. And here are the tags that were already in the program, okay? Plus the one I just added. So I already had this program with a lot of tags already populated for you. We just added this one, tall box present. Okay, so there's going to be a number of tags that we don't have in here that we're going to need to add ourselves. Okay, but that's fine. So let's keep going, and then it's going to show us where we need to add new tags. So I'm going to say XIO space XIC and TON, timer on. Okay, so that's most of the rung that it showed us right here. I'm going to branch around this timer, and I'm going to add a contact and an output here. Okay, so what do we have? So here's another trick you can do. Instead of typing in photo I, you can just grab on this tag and you can drag it down somewhere else. Okay, so that's even quicker. If you click on here, it's going to drag the whole contact. We don't want that. You just want to click right on the tag, and then you can move the tag down. Okay, so we are going to need to have a delay for this short box. We'll talk about what the short and tall boxes are when we see it running. Short box delay. I'm going to hit enter. And it's also told me it's an undefined tag. So I'm going to right click on it, hit new. It's a timer. Yes, that's what I want. Create. Done. And we're going to say short box delay .dn. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing in Logix Pro, that when you have a timer, you have timer timing bits, timer done bits. Same thing in RSLogix 5000. Okay, so now we want to have another one called short box, no space, present. Again, it's a tag that doesn't exist. I'm going to right click, hit new tag, create. Okay, no error on the side here anymore. We can download this. Now it's running inside the PLC. We can always save our program in case something happens, it crashes. This is asking, do you want to upload tag values? I don't care at this point. Tag values are good if you're needing to keep like the count of something or other things that it was memorizing. So you could stop everything running. You could upload the program that says, do you want to save these tag values? You save them so that when you make changes and you download again, it will still remember like how many parts were in the system, wherever timers or counters were at, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and see where we're at. There's not a ton more logic than this. So we've got short box present, we're right here, tall box present, short box present, and these stack lights. So let's do this. So XIC, OTE, I even do the next one, XIC, OTE. Okay, so we got tall box present and short box present. Okay, and we got stack light green that already exists, and it's already tied to the alias to the tag that actually connects to factory IO. Okay, maybe we'll have to talk about that. Stack light red. Okay, so there's 2 rungs. So we don't need to do this every time. So I'm gonna just build a few rungs and then I'm gonna download them all at once. So rung 8, what do we have? We have XIC and account up, CTU. Okay, so we have tall box present. I got it right there. I'm gonna drag it down. And we maybe don't have this tag. Let's see. Oh, tall box count. Nope, doesn't exist. I'm gonna say new. Tall box count is gonna make it a counter. Create. I'm gonna set the preset just really high because I don't need it to be done counting. I just want it to keep the total count forever. And we also have on our box here, the junction box, we have a counter right here. Okay, so we want to display the count on here. So I need to move it to that display. So that's why I'm going to use this move command. So I am going to type MOV for move. Tall box count, I'm going to move it down. What do I need from the count? I need the accumulator. It's .acc, but we can also go like this. Just bringing this down so you can see. So it's got the preset, the accumulator, count up, count down, all these other bits. We need the accumulated count. And we are going to set that to, well, it says large box. It should have said tall. Let's see. Do I already have this tag? Tall box count. Short box count display. No. Okay, so we're going to make the tag that it says large box here, but everything should be called tall, right? Tall box count display. You know what? I don't want to make it here because I can't do the alias if I do it here. This is going to be a bit extra complication. We'd have to go offline to alias it later, and we can do that, but I'm going to do it all in one shot here. So, tall box count display, and it's going to be an alias for what is it? int1 out. Int out 1 rather. Int out 1. Okay, so that is that tag. I'm just going to copy and paste the description. See, as soon as I enter this, it's grayed out. That's because we're online with the PLC. If I go offline from the PLC, I can change what it's tied to, but while we're running, I can't change what it's alias to. So that's why I did it here. Okay, so where are we at now? We're at rung 10. Okay, so we only got a couple rungs left to do. Just gonna finish them up quickly. You know what we could do, since it is basically the same thing. Where are we at? This and this. You know, I can copy a couple of rungs. I can copy this one. Shift, copy, paste. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this other one, and it's just gonna be short box present, short box count. Again, we're gonna make this new tag. Short box count dot ACC. And do we already have a short box count? We can check right here. I think I saw it already in there. Short box count display. Okay, and it's already aliased to the right thing. Int out 0. Now all we got to do is put in the reset. So XIC space RES. I am going to make a branch around here, and I can double click here and put RES. If you don't want to type things in, we'd have to go up here and we'd have to start poking around for timers and counters, and here's the reset right here. Okay, so obviously slower. If you ever want to become really good at programming PLCs, you want to learn all the shortcuts. Okay, reset. We got them right here. Short box count, I'm gonna drag it down. Tall box count, I'm gonna drag it down. Okay, now I am going to download all of this to the PLC. Okay, it's in run, that's fine. So everything is good here. I'm gonna jump into factory IO. And when we talked about alias tags, let's go to drivers. We see this right here. So what was I talking about? The short box count, tall box count. So these are the kind of tags that are tied into factory IO. In this, int out 0 and int out 1, these are the actual tags that are exchanged between factory IO and the PLC. So short box count and tall box count are actually devices. I said they're tags, but let's look at here. Let's look at this actuator tags, we call it. I'm gonna have to slide over and pivot a little bit so you can see what they are. So see, it says tall box count, that's this. Short box count, that's this guy. And you can see all the lights on these buttons. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn this on, and it's gonna show me all my inputs, what they're called. So when you look at this and you see these names right here tied to these tags, well, that's because they are these devices right here. And if we start moving over, we're gonna see other things that are inside here. Sorry for it's weird having to click the right button. Okay, so we get a couple photo eyes here. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn on the outputs, and you're gonna see where the motors are. So I got motor 1 and motor 3. This is actually motor 2. The box is hiding a little bit. Motor 3. Up here we got a couple lights. We got stack light, red, yellow, green. Okay, so those are all of the things that we have inside here. I'm gonna use this and jump back to the control panel. I'm gonna turn all these descriptions off. Now let's start this. So what was happening inside our logic is back here there are a couple photo eyes, and it's checking, is it a short box or is it a tall box? The short boxes are gonna just make the bottom photo eye. The tall boxes are gonna make the bottom and the top photo eye. I think we have some error here because it's counting both. I'm not gonna worry about trying to sort this in the video because I've already gone so far making this video, but let's just slide over and look at these switches. Oh, a little odd moving in here. So you can see the switch is normally on and it turns off when it's made by the box. So just this one will change for the short box. This one will change for a tall box. This one's kind of medium. So this one coming in right now that is going to make both switches. All right. And if you wanted to check this, you could go in here and you could say save, and you could say edit, photo eyes. Okay. And that means I could jump to the control panel, I could jump back to the photo eyes to debug my stuff. Okay, right now, I'm gonna stop it, and we check that our resets these counts. And that's basically it for the lab. There's also a number of other things you can do if you get the lab done quickly. There's some examples of that. You can try writing some other logic. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna show that you can try and like start building your own stuff. You can play around with this, because later on we're gonna have a project and you're gonna need to build your own machine and program it. Okay, so that's it for lab 1.